Unit 7, Listening, Part 2. You will hear part of a radio interview with Barry Hellman, a cave diving expert. For questions 1 to 10, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase.
Cave diving, officially the world's most dangerous sport, isn't for everyone. If you're the kind of person who enjoys being underwater in dark, enclosed spaces, then it's probably the ultimate adventure sport. People often say cave diving sounds like their worst nightmare, but for people like me, it's a real passion. It's like the caves have a power over me. What I love about it most is the amazing beauty of these caves, not to mention their incredible size. It's like nowhere else. You're looking at rock formations that are millions of years old, and the water is crystal clear. Another thing I like is that I'm seeing things that no one has ever seen before. I'm like an explorer discovering new places. This is especially true now that I go down on my own. When I was first learning how to dive, I went down with an instructor who showed me where to go, so that wasn't the same. But you shouldn't go alone until you've had lots of practice and experience. Even then, it can be very dangerous, but that's what some divers say they love about it. They enjoy the challenge. I always plan my dives as much as I can, as I prefer to be in control. If I feel stressed, I make mistakes. But if you know what you're doing, then you shouldn't have a problem. I think the worst thing that can happen is if your lights go out for some reason. It's really scary being in total darkness. So that's why it's important to take 2 sets of lights with you. Something you need to be aware of is that you can't immediately escape to the surface if you get into difficulties, which means your survival depends on your problem-solving abilities. You need to recognise what is happening and follow all the correct procedures you've been taught. Having said all that, cave diving isn't dangerous if you follow a few simple rules. Most of the accidents you read about could have been avoided if these people had followed simple steps to reduce the risks involved. Usually they've done something which wasn't safe, and they should have known better. It's also very important to know when to call a dive or go back. Another big danger is getting lost. Imagine entering an underwater room and looking back to see there is not one, but dozens of passages, and not knowing which way leads back to the entrance. The longer you spend underwater, the more gas you need on your back to help you breathe. You need enough to allow you the time to get back to the entrance if something goes wrong. So it's obviously only a sport for experienced divers. Even if you have all the right equipment, that won't help you if you don't know what you're doing, so you should never attempt cave diving without adequate training. There are lots of good courses to choose from. It takes a special sort of person to become a good cave diver. You must be the kind of person who doesn't panic if something goes wrong, and that takes a great deal of self-control. However, you can learn a lot about yourself from diving, and I think knowing you can survive in such a demanding environment gives you greater confidence, both at work and socially. It won't help you get a job or make friends, but it will make you feel better about yourself. If you're interested in finding out more,